Welcome
Welcome
back
Welcome
back to Three
back
Way
to Three
Call.
Way Call.
with Brent Fallon Star.
It is
Oh, it's okay. We got it.
easy pen. So today we're talking about manifestation and how to manifest the life that you want. They hear the word all the time. They see the same videos we see. Manifest this, manifest that. Here's the best way to manifest. What the hell is that?
Yeah. I think it's just working to create the life that you want and embodying those qualities and, bettering yourself to be able to obtain those things. You know what I mean? And like you said that it's all mostly internal. Like you want to believe that you actually deserve those things. You don't want to just, you know, say like I'm going to manifest this today and not actually put
Mhm.
in the inner work that it takes behind that to be able to achieve that.
Okay. So what if I told you guys manifestation is not about creating your reality? It's experiencing the reality your brain is wired for.
Oh, that's a plot twist, girl. Give us more.
Mhm.
Okay, so our subconscious brain makes up 95% of our reality. So whatever is going on in our life, our subconscious brain, whatever's already wired into our brain, is what we are perceiving at any given moment, basically. So when we're manifesting and we're saying, I really want this job or I want this kind of relationship, we're thinking we're manifesting that by just saying it. But our brain might not be wired to receive that manifestation.
No, that makes sense because this
Hmm.
is where the rewiring of the brain comes in, right?
Hmm.
Love.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So when we think of manifestation and we are saying like our daily affirmations, our I am statements, our journaling, our, what we want to look our future to look like in 5 years, what are we doing in the meantime to get there? How are we actually going to receive that other than just saying it?
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's kind of like we want to practice it in many different ways. And so one of my favorite ways is visualization and really seeing that. But again, not
Hmm.
just saying it every day, but creating that vision, whether it's through, for me, I like to meditate and actually see
Mhm.
it. I like to create a
Hmm.
vision board. I think the more we can, and there's a lot of science behind that too now,
Yeah.
especially. I think it used to be a lot more woo wooey where people were like, oh, that's a bunch of like woo woo. But now the science and the data is telling us how much that visualization changes the brain and therefore your actions
Yes.
too behind it. It's so cool.
Yeah. The
Absolutely.
repetitiveness of those things, like allows you to start getting into that momentum. You slowly start to believe it, you slowly start to see it, and then you can physically embody that person. You start behaving like that person, and then you can receive and be open to that energy of the manifestation.
Yes.
Mhm. Absolutely.
What are some of your favorite ways to get into that space of not actually just like saying it, but manifesting your lives, ladies?
Meditation is one for me, and I think also just drawing back to like the last episode about being self-aware. Because if you're not, then you're always going to be driven by that subconscious. So just that self-awareness piece to say, I notice this cycle, this repetitive cycle I'm in, my actions, my habits, and they need to change. I need to rewire that. I need to start making that different if I want to show up differently in life and if I want something different in life to show up for me. So the self-awareness piece is huge, and a big way to then dive into that would be like meditation for me, journaling for me, and then being consistent with those things. I do like the visualization aspect because majority of my meditations are visualizations,
Mhm.
but sitting in like 5 minutes of silent meditation before entering a visualization has been impactful. And then just believing, and this is silly, but everyone's like, it thinks that being delusional is a bad thing, but being delusional is such a good thing because you have to believe it so wholeheartedly, something that doesn't even exist yet. You have to believe it so much that it's considered delusional that you can never achieve that, but you can. if you really embody and believe that, whether it's delusional to someone else or not. So the self-awareness aspect, meditating in that, embodying that, and being a little freaking Delulu,
Hmm.
like
We love
we're
Delulu.
Delulu.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, I 100% agree with what you're saying, Britt. And a big part of it is really believing that we do deserve what's on our heart. And first of all, if it's on your heart and if you can think of it, you can make it happen. It's there for a reason.
Hmm.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah,
The desires on your heart are there for a reason, and you are deserving of those. But you have to make sure that you truly believe you are deserving, and that's going to come from deep within your subconscious. So it's going to take a lot of that internal work. They always say work on the internal, and then once you get that together, you're going to see your external change and become better as well.
yeah.
So definitely doing the internal work. I'm also a visual person. I do love meditating, and I do a lot of visual meditation, vision boards as well. And I also love scripting. If you guys don't know what scripting is, it's you're literally writing down and creating your future. And
I
you're
love.
so specific with every detail. Like, what am I wearing? What am I drinking? What kind of car
Yes.
am I
Yeah.
driving? What kind of smell is around me? What season it is, what day, very, very specific details. And I've done that a lot. And that's really, really helped me kind of get a hold on what I picture for my future.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And getting so specific like that, Val, is something I do also with my clients in the weight loss world of a lot of people they can't really visualize what it is that they want or what it is that they are really trying to get to. And so we create those specific pictures of, okay, well, what are you feeling? What are you wearing? Where are you living?
Hmm.
Scripting. Okay, that's a good word. I did
Hmm.
not know technically what it was called, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Like through those visualization meditations, one of my favorite that I've done with my clients is called the vision beyond the vision. And you essentially like, get them to a place of like, what does your life look like, 5 years from now, or whatever the time frame is, right? And they really start to embody it. Who's around you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? All those kinds of things. And then I push it a little further. Well, what happens after that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that part always like awakens something else in their brain. They're like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that. And my mind just completely expanded into something else. And then they take that away from that, a more creative side to them, or something sparks in them. And then they're more motivated. And then they're like, now I can really see
Yes.
what I need to do, and it's so beautiful. But that piece of it is awakening that part of their brain that was like dormant essentially. And
Mm-hmm.
when we really want something, um, and it feels, we could feel it like rumbling inside of us, we can almost taste it. There is a version of us that has already received that. So
Hmm.
we know we're going to get there.
Yes, yes, 100%. I love that. So for
Absolutely. And I think also a big part for me is constantly thanking the universe for what has already happened.
Mhm.
I've learned, like,
Yes.
throughout my manifestation journey that, being careful the way that you word things. Like when you're saying, I want this, I want that, want is actually coming from a place of lack. So, what you need to be doing is thanking the universe for already receiving that,
Mhm.
meaning you
Absolutely.
already have it. And that was kind of a huge shift for me in my manifestation once I learned that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Speak as if you already have it. 100%
Yes.
goes into
Yeah.
that. I like that a
And
lot.
those I am statements too are huge. The way you
Mhm.
talk about yourself is what your brain is going to try to find that path. It's going to try to, okay, if you believe this about yourself, we're going to show you every single thing, and your brain will try to find validation for that.
Yes.
So if you say I am not worthy, it will show you every reason why you're not worthy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
So those
does.
I am statements are so impactful. And
Yes,
that's why
they
like those
are.
morning affirmations are like so useful, because even if you don't believe it right then, the more and more and more consistent you are with saying them, the more you'll start to believe them, the more your subconscious will hear and say, oh, we should probably start showing her this then if she thinks
Mm-hmm.
that, you know? So
Yeah.
impactful for
It
sure.
just makes it easier to start taking those steps towards if you, and I don't like to say, like with my girlies, like say something that you don't really believe in necessarily, but more like, well, what do you believe in? And how,
Hmm.
let's talk about how we can make it possible then. So you start to believe it and start to see it. And then you're taking the actions towards it to make it happen, girl, because
Mm-hmm.
100%, Britt, I feel you in terms of if you don't believe it for yourself, then it's going to be so much harder to just create. So it starts with the
Hmm.
believing, but how can we get you there? So
Yes.
speaking of like, what is something for you ladies that you have manifested and through the things we've talked about, believing and visualizing and with your I am statements that has actually like you've made possible for you in your life, career, family, all that, any of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff?
Um, Self-worth, I'd say it comes to the forefront, honestly, because um, I think a couple of years ago I was feeling not worthy, right? But I just started to think like, I know who I am. And I started talking to myself differently. I started treating myself differently. And I started showing up for myself differently. And now I feel like I am unshakable. Like you can't try to tear me back down because I'm so rooted in who I am now. And I think that so that and that was a subconscious manifestation, I will say. Like I didn't know that felt that way before
Mm-hmm.
until I realized, until I just was like, oh shit, like it's different now, and I really worked on that because I didn't want to feel that way. So my mind was like, well, we're going to start showing up for you now. And I
Love
just
that.
now I feel like that self-worth has come up a level, and it's not in a egotistical way. It's just like I feel confident in who I am, and I don't think I felt that in ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love
Elevated.
that. I also think with manifestation too, a lot of people starting out, it's kind of hard when you fall into that like imposter syndrome, like kind of what you were saying too, Star. Like, why do I actually believe that I deserve this? Like, a lot of people think I don't deserve it. And then they have that imposter syndrome and they're like, yeah, I don't deserve this. Like, why would I ever, you know, be able to achieve this or have that great love or like this or that? And I think that's really something hard to overcome. And it does take a lot of work. And for me, like I was going through that. And I'll be honest, and I still go through that some days. But I think taking the action to achieve those things and doing, some of the things that we're recommending to you guys is going to create that confidence. And then and confidence is like a muscle, right? So if you continue to keep working at that muscle, you're going to continue to be more confident. And the more confident you become, the more deserving you're going to feel of those things. And that was kind of a huge piece that I learned through my manifestation process as well.
Love.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
confidence
that's
is a
huge.
muscle. So
Mm-hmm.
true.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a huge part. Whatever we're believing, we're practicing.
Hmm.
So if we're practicing, if we're doubting ourselves, we're practicing doubt. If we're always in fear, we're practicing fear. Like whatever it is, we're constantly telling ourselves we're practicing that. And what happens when you practice that? You get really freaking good at it.
So
Exactly.
good.
So you
And
don't want to be doing those things. You want to practice that confidence. You want to practice those positive things, those things that you want to manifest for sure. And a huge part of manifestation is regulating your nervous system because
hmm
you cannot rewire your brain without a regulated nervous system.
That is a whole girl, another topic on another episode I definitely want to dive into.
Yeah, it's a huge piece. It's top tier to
Yes.
to do those things for sure.
Yeah, and just a funny, crazy example, something for me personally in my life that I just was trying to, I'll just say. So you guys know I got my pro card with in bikini as a, bodybuilder, but on the way
Yes.
Yes.
there, it was so I had what, three shows, and each show I was practicing, like obviously in the gym, doing the posing, all of that. But it wasn't until my third or fourth when I started to finally believe that I could get my pro card. I could see me actually winning it because before that, I didn't really think it was possible. And I think that was a big reason that was holding me back from it would make me nervous, it would make me unsure about myself, question like what am I doing on stage? And then one day I said, "You know what? I can actually see this. I can feel it for myself. I know it's mine." And that year I won my pro card and I thought
Yes.
that was the first real
Yes.
sign of okay, manifesting it, visualizing it, seeing it. That shit works. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
It
Crazy.
does.
I'll be honest. Of all the things, I think that there are still like you have to, again, that self-awareness piece is, and coming back to that imposter syndrome kind of vibe too, is where are you still stuck? Where are you still, what are you not letting go of yet to reach that place? So for me personally, it'd be like a little bit of that imposter syndrome, but more so like that believing I can be successful in this space. Why don't I believe it yet?
Hmm.
I want it. I know I do. I know I'm capable. So there's something stuck still. And when you can be aware of that and try to find that root of where is that coming from, that's when you can fix it, start rewiring it, and then hopefully open up to that expansion. So that's just me being brutally honest for anyone listening that you can still be stuck. You can still want to manifest those things. And just the trick is finding where you're stuck. Why are you stuck there? And how can you get out of that space?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me personally, I've done a lot of workshops, manifestation workshops, and they absolutely touch on all of that and help you through that, and podcasts as well. If you guys are familiar with Manifestation Babe, she's my absolute favorite. I've taken pretty much all of her manifestation workshops, and 9 times out of 10 they're free. She does them live on IG.
Wow.
Yeah.
Highly recommend her, and then her podcasts are amazing for that as well. And same with Gabby Bernstein and Amanda Francis. If you guys are familiar with either of them, they're amazing, and
No.
they all write books about it. I've read them all, love them all, so highly recommend those ladies for that.
Love
Beautiful.
that.
We gotta do the work. Shout out
Gotta
to
Yes.
do the
the
work.
manifestation babe I love. Yeah.
All right, ladies. So, real quick, what is something that you guys are currently manifesting right now in your life?
For me, it's that it's my business. I'd say my business has been there, but I'm focusing more so on right now on that stuck energy and rewiring that part of my brain to believe that I'm capable and that I am worthy of achieving success in that space and trying to, just weed that fear out of what's going to happen if I am, because it's more than just I'm unworthy. It's what happens once that does happen. It's unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of scary. So there's a couple of spots that I'm just trying to figure out mentally, rewire that thought process. And that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Love that.
Beautiful. And you're so amazing. It's already on its way to you, boo.
Thank you.
I think for me right now, my creative juices are really itching to get out. That's again why I've picked up the pole fitness, I think. But I would love to have like some kind of new project, and I have some ideas in mind, whether it's going to be like a product or like a wellness. I know Britt and I have talked about like a wellness retreat, some kind of creative space that I really want to. And because I have so many different ideas, I really just want to narrow it down, focus on that one, and start it up. And 2025 is going to be the year I really want to get it up and going because it's been on my mind
Yes.
for probably a year. So now just figuring out the logistics.
Amen.
Yes.
Love
And you will
that.
achieve it, girl.
Yes, you will. You
So
already have, girl.
it's
Yes.
It
coming.
is yours.
How about you,
And for
Val?
me, I've just peace, honestly, is what I'm manifesting. It's what I've been
Yeah.
manifesting. And I will say I am reaching that peace. So it is mine. I am
Woohoo!
already feeling it. I've
We
been
can see
feeling
it
it.
too.
Yeah. So I'm going to continue with this peace. I love it. Yeah. So
Good for you,
grateful for
girl.
that.
Yeah.
We want to invite all of you to DM us on our IG at Three Way Call Pod. Make sure you type in the number three and not spell it out so you can find us. And please share with us your favorite manifestation rituals or tips, and also what you guys are currently manifesting in your life. We would love to
Yeah.
share them with you.
Such a great idea, Val. We do. I would
Yeah.
love to hear what's on your mind, what you ladies are manifesting, and for the gentlemen out there listening, what are you working towards? Tell us your stories. This is part of like my favorite way of just connecting with y'all.
Yeah,
We look forward to reading your messages. Dial into our next episode. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye.
Bye.